Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. You know, I stopped smoking cigars about 7 or 8 years ago. I don't remember how long it's been, but it was a good thing to stop smoking cigars, right? Mm-hmm. And I knew that smoking was bad for me. And yet, and I've always, encouraged people that if you can, try to stop and period. Just smoking is not good for you. Inhaling smoke into your lungs is obviously not a good thing, even though many of us have done it. Okay. And yet, when we were talking about legalizing marijuana, when this issue was in the news, well, it is in the news still here in Florida. Of course, right now they're talking about the medicinal marijuana, which I don't know if that's smoked or if they just take the chemical out of it and use it in a pill. But we were talking about the actual smokable cigarette marijuana, because it's been legalized in Colorado. Is Washington also now?
Yes.
I think. Okay. Mm-hmm. So one of the comments from one of our listeners, probably many of our listeners, asking, why would you be against smoking but for the legalization of marijuana? And in my mind, it was simple. I just don't think people should go to jail for doing something that's unhealthy. And if you're going to, and I know, and I'm not an expert, I'm not a scientist, I don't know all the details about what marijuana does to you, but it just seemed like from what I've seen, and I've never been a marijuana smoker, but I've been around people. I did music. I was in recording studios. In fact, there was a time when I called the shots in some of the recording sessions and basically said, please, nobody smoke until we're done.
Yeah. Because
I thought, in my own mind, it's going to diminish their talent somewhat. But it is out there. There was an interesting story that I was reading about the Colorado, I guess the folks who collect the taxes in Colorado were not as happy with the amount of money they've made from the taxes on marijuana as they thought they were going to make. Mm-hmm. And then I was reading that the reason for that is because of the taxes. You can still sell there's still a big black market in Colorado for marijuana, even though it's legal.
Yeah.
Because the black market guy doesn't charge any taxes.
Right.
And then I understand, and we're going to have all these things cleared up for us in just a second, but I understand that the medicinal marijuana, even the smokable medicinal, which I don't understand that, mm-hmm. but that has lower taxes in Colorado than the legal recreational marijuana. And then you can grow 6 plants, but you can't say, Dr. Steve Janjic is on the phone. He's a Wall Street commodities expert. He's the CEO of Americanix, which is the ACE, I'll get this right, American Cannabis Exchange Marketplace, the first fully marketplace exchange, is that right, for the cannabis industry. Dr. Steve Janjic, good morning, doctor.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is more complicated than I think we thought it was going to be. I guess the 2 states that legalized recreational marijuana thought this is a great way to make money.
Well, and again, that's where you see the additional taxation on the recreational side. It is purely for the fact that if they were going to allow recreational use, they were going to tax it additionally, so to bring in extra revenue, and that's obviously how they split to their constituents as well.
Oh, wow. So now what do you mean, in my notes it says here that you want to regulate it the same way Wall Street, like use a Wall Street model in order to sell marijuana?
Correct. What we've built is the first fully electronic marketplace for the transaction of marijuana on a wholesale distribution level. So it's all licensed product. And why we say a Wall Street model, what we've learned on the financial markets is all of the derivative or the over-the-counter markets, to have the traceability, the transparency, and the trackability for the regulators, they've moved most of those products to some electronic venue. That way, at any given point in time, they have that transparency. They can see who's in the marketplace, whether there is manipulation or not. But It's very easy to track each and every transaction and ultimately track all of your tax revenue. And one of the points that are key that you touched on is the black market. Once you take and you move products to a legal venue, you tend to not eliminate the black market, but you will move it to a point where it almost doesn't exist. But the black market will always exist, similar to tobacco and alcohol. But what we did learn once they legalized those products is they learned that the miner didn't get the product. What they also learned is that control gave them the ability to add compliance and see everything that's occurring in the marketplace. So what we've done, we've built that marketplace for the wholesale distribution of cannabis, and the Wall Street model has worked for decades, and we believe it's going to work in this marketplace as well.
Where are you calling from? Where are you?
I'm currently in Denver, Colorado.
Okay, so in the state of Colorado, this is applicable. Would it, it's a Wall Street model. Does that mean it would be publicly sold? Could we buy a share in some company like we used to be able to buy a share? Well, we still can buy a share in tobacco companies.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, and that's where we're hoping our future does take us, is to a public offering. If you look at my board of directors, it's a combination of very professional people from Wall Street as well as my board of directors. And that is our goal, is eventually to take this company public.
Now we see we see visual images on the news of people that are growing the marijuana plants, allowing the cameras to come in because people can just go in and purchase the plants themselves and bring them home. Does that affect the stock options any as to how many people are actually selling it?
Well, again, what's happening in the Colorado marketplace is it's opening up in October, where you now are going to be able to bring in many new participants, many new licenses, and that's what they're seeing. It's actually growing at a euphoric pace in Colorado. Now, the only issue is, and I'm sure the state of Colorado didn't realize in the beginning, that to track those individual growers at home, to track all of the transactions, to be able to track each and every plant and product, there has to be some type of a technology or an electronic venue. But currently, that technology doesn't exist from the beginning or inception of that plant all the way through the entire sales cycle to the consumer. And that's what we've developed and built.
Really? Now, the one thing I don't understand, and maybe this isn't even applicable, but if I grow tomatoes, I can grow them on the side of the road. I grew them myself, and I grow them. But then there's also the big, gigantic tomato farm that sells them to the grocery stores. We're both doing something legal, and we're both regulated in some way by the government. I'm guessing I'm supposed to collect taxes if I'm selling tomatoes. Why doesn't that same simple logic apply to marijuana and even tobacco and alcohol?
Well, I think they look at it more like tobacco and alcohol. So you have that level of taxation. You have states here in the United States that currently only state liquor licenses sell liquor. So I think what it comes down to is they look at each individual product individually and then decide how to regulate it based on what the consumer effects are on that individual product.
So is the idea of taxing marijuana... Okay, this is crazy because to me it sounds like the reason it was taxed was so that the state could make money. The reason they told us that they taxed cigarettes was to discourage us from smoking cigarettes. But in reality, we all know what's really the truth. It was their way of making money. It's got to be true in Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. It all comes down to it being a product that can help fill the revenue buffers for the state. If you also look at the state, it's brought down crime because of the legalization process. It's also, if you look at the state, it's growing at a tremendous pace. I believe it's one of the fastest growing economies in the United States. And not that it's all attributed to just marijuana, but all the ancillary businesses that surround it are growing at such a fast pace and really putting a lot of people to work. It's really a model for the rest of the country, I believe, if done properly.
So has the state of Colorado, I'm guessing the state of Colorado has saved a lot of money because they're no longer incarcerating people for marijuana.
And that is correct. And that's, again, when you look at crime and you look at the statistics behind it, the cost savings and the cost benefit, along with the benefits and revenue, are tremendous for the state. And I think that's why you're noticing that if you look across the country, we can transact in every state that's recreationally and or medicinally legal. If you look just over the past year, how quickly that's grown, and the number of states that are adding it to the ballot. Also, Washington, D.C. recently decriminalizing marijuana. It does look like even at a federal level, they want to wrap their hands around one of the world's largest cash commodities.
Wow. Okay. I'm interested to finding more about the electronic exchange and how that would help the states as well as anybody else. It's Dr. Steve Janjic is on the phone. We will be right back to have this discussion. And by the way, the phone lines are open if you want to call in. 622-WOCA. We need to take a break for the weather and a couple of commercials, and we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today with a shower or thunderstorm around, the high 88 to 92. Partly cloudy tonight. There can be a shower or thunderstorm in spots near the coast, the low 70, inland 75 along the coast. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a thunderstorm around, mainly during the afternoon hours across the interior, the high 88 to 92. And for Friday, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
I'm Major George Patterson from the Salvation Army. Please stop by our family store at 120 Northwest 10th Street in Ocala, where on Wednesday you have a 50% off clothing and bric-a-brac. On Friday, 25% off furniture and large appliances. And on Saturday, stop by to our yard sale from 8:45 to 11. Donations can be made by calling 352-732-4469 and we'll pick it up. Funds from the store go toward the services that we provide in Marion County.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out. New shows? Check. Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire.
Because that's how exotic it is.
All right, 19 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. In November, on Election Day, on the 4th of November, we will be voting here in Florida on an initiative to for Amendment 2, which is the Florida Right to Medical Marijuana Initiative. Medical marijuana, the medical use of marijuana. And we are talking to Dr. Steve Janjic out in Denver, Colorado, where marijuana is legal. And he has told us in the first part of this about something pretty interesting. So let's not engage in conversation debating marijuana right now. I'd rather learn more about this electronic marketplace that he's talking about, because if we pass this amendment in November, the speculation is that it'll take the next step. Who knows how long it'll take before we are just like Colorado and apparently like some of the other states, either decriminalizing marijuana or simply making it legal. But it's not even straightforward legal in Colorado yet, is it, Doctor?
Well, it is legal on a recreational basis. So yes, it's legal to anybody over the age of 21 on a recreational basis, and then on a medicinal basis, it's legal to anyone.
So let me ask you something about the medicinal, and this is not exactly about the marketplace, but is medicinal marijuana smoked?
There's actually many different ways to ingest it. One of the more popular is, and I believe what they say that the effects are better if it is in the smoke versus some of the pill forms.
Really? You know, there was a discussion with people who know way more about it than I do about it helping children with epilepsy.
Yes, and those are some of the studies that are currently being done, and that I believe they're having very good results in. And that's the key, right? If you can bring any product out to the marketplace, the key is to make sure you study it properly, you have the proper tools to make sure that it is studied properly, and also to make sure that the only participants are the ones that should be getting it.
Is the company Amercanex part of NASDAQ, and is it publicly traded?
No, we are not. We're a private company, just opened up literally our offices 2 months ago. The transaction started in October, and we do hope to one day be traded on such a prestigious exchange.
So you are using the electronic exchange already?
What we are is we've built our own electronic exchange purely for the wholesale distribution of cannabis. So this is literally our own product, our own technology, our own matching engine, our own algorithms that provide this entire environment.
And who would use it? Is it the legislators that would use it, or the little marijuana shop on the corner?
Well, multiple participants. The legislators could use it to track all the transactions for revenue, for taxation, and everything else. The dispensaries, the bottling companies, and the food manufacturers would use it to buy and sell their products. And so the distribution channel is amazing.
And since you do sell wholesale, is there what kind of paperwork do they have to provide to you before you can sell it to them?
Yes, that is correct. So, the marketplace is very controlled right now, and the key is just to add a little more control to make sure that the control they have is being followed properly.
So am I understanding right that the American Cannabis Exchange that we're kind of focusing on with this interview is kind of in its infancy, and if the nation goes as Colorado has gone, what you've already kind of established, I guess the other states will be turning to you to find out how to do this. If this is a way to level out the playing field so that the black market doesn't take away money from what the states are hoping to make.
Yes, that is correct, because we're working with many states to show them and implement our product, because ultimately it lowers cost, it helps eliminate the black market. There's so much value to it, along with the ability to track each and every transaction, all the transparency. It makes sense for every market participant.
And it seems like your company is really one of the pioneers for this new form of exchanges in the industry, because you have to self-regulate.
Yes, and that's what we do, is we provide all the rules and regulations, and then we make sure that everybody follows them.
That's amazing.
Okay. Well, it looks like an investor's type of an idea. It looks like and even though it's not publicly sold right now, it looks like it's laying the groundwork for that.
Yes, absolutely.
The website that I got is Americanex.com. Is that right? Is that right? Americanex.com? Amercanex. Amercanex, is that right? Doctor, did we lose you? I think we lost him. Doctor, you there? Well, let me look at the website. Amercanex.com. Amercanex.com.
Amercanex.
Doctor, are you there? I think he's gone, Robin.
Yeah, I see the light. Maybe he's in a dead zone. Bad choice of words.
Doctor, you there? Dr. Steve Janjic is who we're speaking to. If we can get him back on the phone, he's a Wall Street commodities expert and the CEO of Americanex. Doctor, are you there?
Hello, doctor.
Hello?
There you go.
Doctor? Oh, there you are. Good, you're back.
Apologies, folks. I lost you here for a minute.
Yeah, you drifted away. I thought maybe too much. Too much.
I guess I stepped into a bad spot here.
I mean, I was expecting. You want some?
Yeah.
You know what I used to get? I have not smoked marijuana, but I was with many people who did, and I'm not lying about that. But they would always say, "Hey, you want some?" And I would say, "No." And they said, "Why not? Why not?"
Well, and like I've always said, we all we're doing is we're providing a process. The process is been legalized, and it does look like they're pushing for it across the country. And whether we wanted it legal, we didn't want it legal, isn't really an issue. I think across the country now, what I think the issue really is to make sure that as we go through the process, we make it safe, we make it trackable and transparent for everybody, so that ultimately, if we're going to treat it like tobacco and alcohol, we need to make sure that we have the ability to track it and make sure it only ends up in the right place.
Are you doing this globally as well as within the United States?
Yes, our next exchange will open up in Canada, and we're also working closely with the country of Uruguay to bring an exchange into that marketplace, because what happened there is they really didn't think the marketplace was going to be that big. What happened ultimately, once they allowed it and legalized it, they found that they left a ton of revenue on the table, and now they have absolutely no technology to track it.
Oh my gosh.
See, that's what I've always said about this particular law, that it was all right. Let me tell you a little background. I used to work at the juvenile detention center, and once in a while there'd be a kid in there arrested for marijuana, and I would always say, "Gosh, I mean, there are kids in here who did some really bad things. This kid, all he had was a plant that grows in the ground, and it just didn't seem fair to me." And I would say to him, you need to stay away from that. It's illegal. And he goes, "Yeah, but that's a stupid law." And I would always say, "Well, maybe so. But a stupid law is still a law, and if you're breaking it, you're going to find yourself here." And the fact that we finally figured out that we're putting people in jail who really shouldn't be in jail, that's a pretty smart move. It was a smart move to undo prohibition. That was a bad move to prohibit alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's anyway. So, but once it's in place, and there is a way to legally sell it and do it safely, so that it's not somebody lacing it with something else, I think that's when it starts making sense, and people can make money from it. Why not?
Absolutely. The market is growing that fast, and what you're noticing is, like in Colorado, a lot of new companies are growing. You have we call the pick and shovel companies, who are all the ancillary products around the cannabis industry, and they're hiring locally. They're putting people to work. They're building the city. If you look at that aspect of it, it is working. Now, all they need to do is really have the ability to wrap their hands around it.
I want the listeners to be able to look into this further. An interview on the radio only scratches the surface. During the part of the interview where we lost you for a little bit, I went online to Americanex.com. It's not Americanex. Don't put the I in there. It's AMERCANEX.com. And then you'll be able to find out more. Is that the best thing we can tell our listeners so they can look into this further?
Yes, absolutely. Our website really explains it. It's made so that everybody can understand it, and we welcome any questions.
All right. Doctor, thank you for being on the air with us today. Dr. Steve Janjic, if you happen to want to share this interview with anybody, we have recorded it. It'll be on the WOCA YouTube channel by 2 o'clock today. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
All right.
All the best.
We'll take a little break. We'll be right back to have fun with Joe.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. President Obama getting ready to address the nation tonight on our efforts to take on the Islamic State group. Secretary of State John Kerry now in Iraq echoing the president's message.
Together with many other countries involved in a large coalition, we will take on the challenge of ISIL.
Kerry saying one U.S.-Iraq plan would be the creation of an Iraqi National Guard to act as a buffer against militants. Authorities say they expect to charge a South Carolina father in connection with the deaths of his children.
The 5 missing children from South Carolina, ranging in age from 1 to 8, were found in central Alabama in garbage bags.
The suspect actually brought law enforcement from out of state to this location.
Alabama State Trooper Steve Jarrett.
Fox Radio's Ron Flatter. Suspect Tim Jones Jr. currently charged with child neglect. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Napa know-how!
Want to know how to make your engine look like $1 million? Step 1, don't spend $1 million. Step 2, just spend $2.99 at Napa for Gunk Engine Degreaser and get a $2.99 mail-in rebate. Step 3, do the math. For next to nothing, you and your engine just hit the jackpot. Sweet. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. Mail-in rebate available for the entire sale price at participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 9/30/14.
At the Home Depot, buy one or more pallets of GAF Royal Sovereign 3-tab shingles and save up to 20%. Let's raise the roof but lower the cost with bulk pricing on GAF, America's #1 shingle, featuring advanced protection technology. This is worth shouting from the rooftops. Let's do this. Up to 20% off one or more pallets of select GAF shingles. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Valid through September 17th, U.S. only.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Here are today's headlines from The Source, WOCA. The Florida Highway Patrol is reporting that 2 semi-tractor trailers were involved in an accident on I-75 yesterday evening just after 8 p.m. near the County Road 326 exit, closing the northbound lanes for about 2 hours. Both semis were empty at the time of the accident. The report indicates that a car had slowed to approximately 20 miles per hour, causing both semi-drivers to swerve. The car was not hit, but both trucks collided with each other. No injuries were reported. The Clay County Sheriff's Office is reporting that a 2-year-old boy accidentally fired his father's personal gun inside a Wendy's restaurant in the town of Middleburg, hitting a woman in the leg. The boy's father is Clay County Sheriff's Sergeant Matthew Magish. Now, the Department of Children and Families is investigating Irma Bonilla, who was having lunch at Wendy's at 2530 Blanding Boulevard when she says she heard a big boom, felt something burning in her knee. A police incident report said that Clay County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Matthew Magish was off duty with his 2-year-old son and family near the counter. Sergeant Magish told police that his son stuck his hand into his pocket looking for a snack and accidentally fired his personal gun, which he was lawfully carrying. The report says the gun Magish was carrying is a Kel-Tec .380 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Small bullet fragments bounced off the floor, hitting Bonilla and 2 other adults. No one was shot directly or needed medical attention. A 25-year-old Florida man accused of stalking Bristol Palin in Alaska after inundating her with Facebook messages is under arrest. Peter P.W. Ferrero is charged with felony stalking in connection with a Sunday encounter with Palin, the 23-year-old daughter of former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. According to an affidavit filed by Wasilla police officer Brandon Gray, Bristol Palin arrived at her Wasilla home Sunday evening and encountered Ferrero in the driveway. Palin had her 5-year-old son tripped trip with her at the time. Gray wrote that Ferrero told Palin his name was Peter Paul. Palin told the officer she recognized Ferrero because he has sent her about 1,000 Facebook messages since March. Palin also stated she told Ferrero to back off in the driveway, but he continued to approach her. She then picked up her son and called 911 from across the street. Palin and her sister Willow filed civil protective orders against Ferrero on Monday. Ferrero is being held at the Mat-Su pre-trial facility in Palmer, Alaska. Walton County Sheriff's officials tried to auction off a stray donkey that they've been caring for, but no one showed up to buy it. Now they're trying to find someone to adopt the donkey that they have named Moses. The donkey was dropped off at the sheriff's office about 3 weeks ago after the person who found him said he became too expensive to feed. Since then, he's been living in a barn near the sheriff's headquarters. Deputy Tammy Henderson named him and has been feeding him every day. She told the Northwest Florida Daily newspaper that Moses loves peppermint. Officials placed a legal ad, but no one claimed the donkey, and no one bought him at the auction. Spokeswoman Catherine Rodriguez says they're just hoping to find someone to give Moses a nice home. And finally, a new resort hotel is coming to Universal Orlando. The Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort is Universal's 5th such hotel and is scheduled to open in the summer of 2016. When it does, Universal says guests will walk into a colorful Caribbean hideaway built around a lush tropical lagoon and towering waterfall. The Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort will be located across Adventure Way from the new Cabana Bay Beach Resort. It will have 1,000 rooms, including 77 suites. That will bring the number of on-site hotel rooms at Universal Orlando to 5,200. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today with a shower or thunderstorm around, the high 88 to 92. Partly cloudy tonight. There can be a shower or thunderstorm in spots near the coast, the low 70 inland, 75 along the coast. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a thunderstorm around, mainly during the afternoon hours across the interior, the high 88 to 92. And for Friday, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Right on the southwestern corner of the square sits one of the finest dining establishments in Florida, Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood Restaurant. Mark's offers big city dining amenities in a charming and small town setting. It's a rare treat to experience both the ambiance and the exquisite cuisine in a friendly atmosphere. Ocala's finest restaurant serves the finest beef, the freshest seafood, premium wines, and naturally fresh vegetables. From valet parking to splendid service, Mark's offers the complete package. Check it out today. Mark's Prime Seafood and Steakhouse Restaurant.
Today in Florida Ag News on the Southeast AgNet, Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack hosted a teleconference Monday afternoon to announce conservation funding to help landowners protect and restore key farmlands, grasslands, and wetlands across the nation. He said the funding is provided through the Ag Conservation Easement Program, or ACEP, which actually consolidated 3 former Natural Resources Conservation Service easement programs: the Farm and Ranch Lands Protection Program, Grasslands Reserve Program, and Wetlands Reserve Program.
We were anxious to see the reaction to this combination effort, and we were not disappointed. We received over 1,450 applications, totaling up to $546 million of requests that would have covered 345,000 acres. We were able to identify 380 easements that qualified under our program, $328 million being announced today. For those 380 easements, it will cover 129,000 acres. 60% of those acres would be farmland and grasslands, 40% wetlands.
Now, of the $328 million announced, Florida will receive $31,644,000.
These easements are of varying lengths.
The Agricultural Conservation Easement Program was created in the 2014 Farm Bill to protect critical wetlands and encourage producers to keep lands in farming and ranching. To learn more, just contact your local NRCS office.
Did you know your checkoff is sharing the benefits of beef with millennials through social media? Did you know your beef checkoff helped get 6 extra lean cuts certified as heart healthy by the American Heart Association? Did you know your checkoff is helping us set new U.S. beef export records? While you manage your operation, your beef checkoff is working hard to keep beef top of mind with consumers here and around the world. Get to know your checkoff and start sharing the facts at mybeefcheckoff.com. Funded by the Beef Checkoff.
Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.